What is up, you guys? It is your boy, Phoenix Brenton here, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to be doing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers video. And the Bucks are, I feel like, one team that it's just like, it's such a weird team to particularly talk about. And I feel like part of that reason is because of what happened last season. But anyways, before we get in today's video, like and subscribe. We are on the road to getting to 700 subscribers. But with that basically out of the way, let's get into this video. And I want to start off with their off season because they didn't really add much of noteworthy players, like maybe Christian Roseboom to some aspect, Kent Gainwell maybe, but like Alex Azazone, but like they really did lose some decent players. Mike Evans is a good instance. Levante David, that's another one. Jamel Dean, like they went and lost some actual assets while not really gaining much in return. And that's kind of interesting when they're kind of in a win now perspective. They're not really at the position here to be like, oh, we're not going to be in the win now position, you know? We're not at that position. They're more higher than that, in my opinion. Like, they should kind of be considering, like, this, trying to build a team around Baker Mayfield, and that's just not what they kind of did during the offseason. They kind of felt like they were retooling and getting close to a rebuild, which, by the way, this team is getting very close. I feel like year after year after year. And I do want to talk about their draft before we go over their depth chart, and I feel like I want to do this for probably the rest. They had a really, really good draft, in my opinion. Like, first of all, Ruben Bain Jr. I don't know how the hell he fell at 15, but that is a big steal, I feel like. Isaiah Trotter will be a good addition at the linebacking position. Very questionable, though, why they went and drafted Ted Hurst, even though I think he's a decent player. And Keontae Scott in round 4, I think, was also a really good move. So they made moves to upgrade the roster, as I think they should have. But I'll still say it. Why is Ted Hurst a draft pick on this team when you have a receiving core that consists of Chris Godwin, Mecca Ibuka, Jalen McMillan, and Tez Johnson? So even if Chris Godwin was like just cut or something or traded, they still have 3 other receivers that are probably above him on the depth chart. Maybe Tez Johnson. I heard there are some like weird things going on with Tez, I think. But still, I am just kind of questioning why that's the case. But whatever. I do really like their offense. Like, Baker Mayfield's a good player. Running back depth chart's good. Their wide receiving depth chart is good. I like K. Otten at tight end. Their offensive line is pretty good. But, I mean, the defense is kind of just where I feel like that's kind of where things start to become issues. Like, your number one linebacker right now is Alex Azalone. I'm just not a big fan of that. And your edge rush is consistent of Ruben Bain and Abu Dhabi with basically no depth afterwards. And the secondary is still just a giant question mark. I mean, I did hear Jacob Parrish is alright, and I already know that Anton Winfield is a great safety, but they kind of just went and drafted another nickel corner with Keontae Scott, which they needed like some main boundary corners, which I don't know if Benjamin Morrison and Zion McCollin are going to really do that. And like, here's the biggest problem with the Bucks roster: is not it's not that. In fact, issue. The problem of this roster to me is that they don't really have a lot of big time talent players. Like, yeah, they do. They have like Vita Vea, they have Anton Winfield, potentially Emeka Ibuka even, and Bucky Irving, and maybe Baker Mayfield, depending on who you ask, in terms of great talent. And also Tristan Wirfs, I forgot about him. But it's still like, again, I think it's the defense that has the biggest lacking of that, because it's like the only great players they have on defense is Vita Vea and Anton Winfield, while offense you have Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, and then like Tristan Wirfs. So that's where kind of things come into play here. Not saying like, oh, the Bucks are trash or something. I'm not saying that entirely, but that's kind of just something I will point out. So let's look at the Bucks schedule, and they are going against the NFC North, which is just a gauntlet of a division. And it also looks like they go against the AFC North as well, while wildcard games for like the Cowboys and the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, and the Eagles actually. So wait, I don't know actually. I don't. What were their random games? Obviously, they have the NFC South. Is it the AFC North and then the NFC North, and then it's Chargers and Rams? I think that's probably what their wildcard games are. I What I mean by that is like they go against that entire division, while the wildcard games are just like the random games that they have. That's what I mean when I say like the Chargers and the Rams are their wildcard games. Just saying. So let's start off with the floor of this team. And I think for starters, they will lose on the road against Cincinnati, even though they are not a great team at week one. I do think they will beat the Browns at home. They will lose to the Vikings, though, at home. They will lose to the Packers at home. Lose to the Cowboys on the road. The Steelers at home. And I think in terms of their division, they'll split the series, I feel like, with every single team. I think that's kind of just a fair assumption, especially with their floor of anything. But that's just me. They will lose on the road against the Bears. They have a bye week, but they still will lose to Detroit on the road. I do think, no, I think the Chargers could beat you at home, and you will lose to the Ravens on the road, and you will definitely lose to the Rams at home. Putting their floor at 4-13. This is probably one of the lowest floors I've ever gave the Bucks. Probably since like, I'd say probably since when Tom Brady retired, but that's just me. Then their ceiling. They will beat on the road. They will beat the Bengals on the road. And actually, let's also talk about their division too. I do think they'll still split the series with Carolina, but I think they'll sweep the Falcons and the Saints, which that's some kind of big games that they have to win there. You beat the Vikings at home. You will beat the Packers at home because remember they don't have Micah Parsons. You still lose on the road against Dallas, but you will beat Steelers at home. You will still lose to the Bears on the road. You'll still lose to the... Actually, I think I will give you the Lions on the road. Just because I think the Lions... There's a little skepticism with me with that roster so far. I don't think you will beat Chargers, though, at home. And you definitely won't beat the Ravens on the road and the Rams at home. So that puts their ceiling at 11-6. So, I mean, I don't really see this team like running away with their division because, like, again, I think the Panthers are a serious team in that division. The Saints could be sneakily good. The Falcons, I think, even could be sneakily good. I don't know why a lot of people are kind of sleeping on the Falcons as of recently, but that is just me. And I still think this team has a lot more potential than they think. I mean, I feel like the NFC South could definitely surprise people this year. Like, I don't think it's just kind of like, oh, we have like one clear winner in this division. It's not really like that anymore. This team is, or well, I'd say this entire division is not the same, just like NFC South team where it's like, oh, this division sucks. Not really, because I feel like all these teams are kind of just middle of the pack teams that could get some big upsets like they kind of did last year, and they could be a big difference maker. And that's just my opinion. But anyways, guys, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys with the next one. Peace.